All right, let me screen share here. All right, cool. Can everyone see the first slide? All right, I'm seeing some yeses. All right, cool. So my name is Carlos Aguirre. I'm the NASA Internships Program Coordinator, one of two at Ames Research Center, which is in Silicon Valley. There's my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Tuesday. Maybe for some of you, it feels like a second Monday. I hope not. I know you guys are working very hard, but I'm glad you're here. So a little bit about my academic journey. I just want to inform you a little bit about me. I'm a first generation college graduate. My undergraduate academic career was at UCI. I majored in pharmaceutical sciences. And through my undergraduate career, I was a part of many underrepresented minority programs. And I just advise you to definitely look into if you have these types of programs at your campus. Camp is one, Mark and MERT, especially if you're a biomedical engineer, you can definitely are eligible for these programs, which will support you financially as well as professionally throughout your undergraduate career. They also give you STEM professional development, and I was able to, it made it easier for me to conduct undergraduate research opportunities at UCI through these programs, as well as go to London to conduct Parkinson's disease research at King's College London. And so then I did my master's at Cal State LA. I also was in another URM program there that supported my master's. So technically it was free. It was funded by the National Science Foundation. And then finally, my academic career ended when I finished the PhD program in chemical and biological sciences at the Scripps Research Institute in La Jolla here in San Diego. And I actually just defended August this year, and it was successful. And I was fortunate enough to land a job right after. And so with that, yes, I was doing a lot of research throughout my whole academic career. However, here are some photos of me. I was very passionate about STEM outreach, STEM engagement. And so I was very involved. I was very involved in the community, across schools, universities, and even at conferences, just doing outreach and engagement. And ultimately, that's the route I chose, right? So that's why currently I'm an internships program coordinator. There it is, Ames Research Center. And ultimately, I chose a STEM engagement career path due to that quote there that definitely just exemplifies why I chose that career path. And so with that, I think I'll get into NASA internships at Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley, but a lot of this information also pertains to many of the other NASA centers across the nation. So first off, the outline here, I'll begin with an overview, the requirements. I'll get into more of the logistics in the middle of the presentation, how to apply, frequently asked questions. And then towards the end, why you should intern, and then open it up to questions. And so first off here, here's an overview of the internship program. So NASA internships are competitive awards. What does that mean? It means that you must apply and be selected. So that's why they're competitive. They support educational opportunities. And so why is educational bolded? It's a learning experience. If you are accepted to a NASA internship, we don't expect you to come in as an expert, as an expert in the field or on the project that you get accepted for. It is a learning experience, so don't feel pressured. It's all about just learning and supporting your academic career. So they're competitive, educational, and they are unique NASA projects related to operational experiences, and they're for educators, high school, undergraduate, and graduate students. So even during your graduate career, if that is what you pursue later, just keep in touch with the NASA website to see if there's opportunities for graduate students. And so these opportunities integrate interns with career professionals, emphasizing mentor-directed. What does that mean? That means that yes, you get assigned a project, but a mentor will help you under the way. That means a NASA faculty will guide you, be there communicating with you and helping you out through your internship experience. They're degree-related tasks, so the project you get selected for is experience related to your major, right? And they contribute to the operation of NASA facility or the advancement of NASA missions. So you are doing work, you are doing research, working on projects that directly impact NASA missions. For example, this last summer, I talked to a couple of, I'm the coordinator, so I checked in with a couple of interns who were actually coding some of the robotics that went into the Mars rover that was just launched like a month or two ago. So they do definitely impact Mars and moon missions and space missions in general. A little bit more, there's 3 sessions. So you can apply for spring, summer, fall. Spring and fall are 16-week long. Summer is 10 to 12 weeks. And the application deadlines, at least for upcoming spring, the deadline is November 6th. There's still a little bit of time left for you to, if you are considering to apply. And then for summer 2021, March 5th, fall 2021, July 9th. What's cool about NASA internships is there's just one website that you need to go to, and it's right there, intern.nasa.gov. That's where you submit your information, your application information, you fill out things that we ask. And then once you do that, you get to search for NASA projects that interest you. And so I just want to emphasize again that everything is done through intern.nasa.gov. So it's very, very easy. What are the requirements for a NASA internship? You must be a US citizen, a minimum GPA of 3.0. And these internships are geared for high school, undergraduate, and graduate students that are enrolled in an accredited community college or 4-year institution. So the institution must be degree granting. So if you fit all these requirements, then I encourage you to apply. And then another question that we get a lot is, what majors is NASA looking for? Well, predominantly, yes, most of the projects that get uploaded by NASA faculty onto the intern system for you to search are predominantly STEM specific. However, even if you're a STEM major and perhaps you want to take maybe a little break from STEM or want to explore other areas, maybe you want to couple your STEM background with other fields, we do have internships in communications, public affairs, journalism, education, graphics, business, and finance. So sometimes, for example, at least lately, there's a lot of internships regarding social media, managing NASA social media accounts, being part of NASA communications in that fashion, in that form. And then projects change each session according to, the organization needs, what kind of projects they're doing at the moment. But in general, for the STEM projects, at least in general, NASA routinely needs interns who have the following skills: programming such as Java, C++, HTML. There you see networking, machine shop, fabricating design, prototyping, 3D printing, as I mentioned, social media, technical writing, as well as database administration. So yep, both STEM and non-STEM opportunities are available depending on the session. Here, some frequently asked questions that we get are, do I need a letter of recommendation? The answer is yes, at least one letter of recommendation. However, if you could get 2 or 3, that's great too. But you just need one. Your application is not complete until you have at least one letter of recommendation submitted. This is pre-COVID. Will housing be provided? So pre-COVID, these opportunities were in person, right? So you had to provide your own housing near a NASA center. But now everything is virtual. So at least for now, everything is virtual. So that's why I definitely encourage everyone to apply to NASA internships. You don't have to take a break from school now. You don't have to, go pay for housing at maybe Silicon Valley where it's expensive. You could just do it from where you're already at. So that's fantastic. And something cool, I wish I had known about NASA internships when I was an undergraduate. How much will I be paid? These are not volunteer or free internships. You do get paid. So fall and spring internships are 16 weeks long. Undergraduates get paid $11,680, and graduates get paid $14,400. So at least to me, when I was an undergrad, and even now, that's a lot of money. So I definitely encourage you to apply. And then for summer, since it's shorter, the payment is decreased a bit. Undergrads get paid $7,300 and graduates $9,000. So here, this is not the most updated map of NASA centers across the nation, but now in this virtual environment, you get to, in theory, basically, if you do get selected, depending on where the project is coming from what NASA faculty at what center, you get the opportunity to intern at any of these NASA facilities, NASA centers that you see marked on this map. So that's very cool too. Right now during this virtual environment, if you do multiple internships, in theory, you can get experience from many NASA centers. And so that's very cool because each NASA center has its own specialty and stuff like that. So that's great to put on your resume, right? A diversity of NASA centers and fields, research fields. So I work as the internships program coordinator at Ames Research Center. And so here you see what we call our core competencies at Ames Research Center. So we have air traffic management, entry systems, advanced computing and IT systems, intelligent adaptive systems, cost-effective space missions, aerosciences, astrobiology and life sciences, space and earth sciences. And so these are the focus area of research projects that faculty at Ames focus on. And so just some examples for air traffic management that can involve heat shields, entry and re-entry, things of that nature. For computing, we have one of the world's fastest supercomputers. There's definitely interns that are working on that, even virtually. For intelligent and adaptive systems, there's lots of robotics projects. For cost-effective space missions, some examples are satellites and sending payloads to the International Space Station. There's definitely interns working on that as well. We have lots of wind tunnels, and in fact, we have the world's largest wind tunnel. And so there's many projects regarding that as well. And for astrobiology and life sciences, there's projects in which some interns and faculty are analyzing space dust to research the origin of life. So there's lots of different fields. That's what makes Ames Research Center unique. We actually have a lot of focus areas compared to other research centers that mainly only have one or two focus areas. So if you're ready to apply, what do you do? As mentioned, you go to intern.nasa.gov. There's a screenshot of how it looks like. And that's spring 2021 and summer 2021 sessions are open. Some NASA faculty have already uploaded projects descriptions for summer 2021. There's definitely projects for spring already. Apply early. The early, the better, because there's just, there's a lot of people applying. So you want to get your application there sooner rather than later. And so the deadline for spring is November 6th. So it's coming up, but there's still time for you to apply. And so you can preview projects before submitting your application. So if you notice that orange arrow, it points towards something that says preview projects. So, if you're hesitant to submit your application or just nervous or something like that, which you shouldn't be, you can preview the projects. And, when you're reading the project descriptions, don't think that, oh my God, this project is overwhelming or it's too much. Sometimes, with STEM communication, STEM writing, even faculty don't know how to, describe certain projects in terms that are more general, right? They stick to their very particular jargon. And so that's kind of how it looks here. So if you see here on the left, my application, there's personal information, address, citizenship, education. In education, we do want your unofficial transcripts. Employment, have you had a previous employment experience? Resumes are not required, but definitely please, we encourage you to upload resumes. And of course, letters of recommendation. And so, yep, that's a screenshot of what you'll see once you start registering or submitting an application. So how do you make your application stand out? So first of all, I want to let you know that you can apply to up to 15 opportunities. So definitely your chances of getting something if you apply to 15 are obviously increased. So you definitely want to make your application stand out. You want to list your skills. So on the application system, there's actually a skills section. Many people don't just leave it blank. If you have previous programming skills, some sort of engineering projects you worked on, list the skills. You don't have to write a paragraph. You don't have to describe in detail your skills. It's just a list. So it's pretty simple. So definitely don't skip the skills section. Any acronyms, so any programs, clubs, organizations you've been a part of and that you've gotten academic or professional development through, spell out the program acronyms and explain in detail your research interests and technical skills in your resume, as well as there's a question. There's also a key thing to do is there is a question in the application why you want to work at NASA. So another way to make your application stand out is many people just put it's been their dream to work at NASA since they can remember. That's definitely very general, and we get a lot of those statements. So for that question, we prefer, if you are going to say that, if it's true that it's been your dream to work at NASA, expand on it, right? And put your own unique background on why and what you can contribute to NASA. It doesn't all necessarily have to be what technical skills or how you can help out NASA with their projects. It could also just be your way of thinking, right? If you think you have a unique way of addressing research questions, research problems, that's great too. So definitely, I encourage you to expand on that question in the application. So important sections of your application are computer skills, if you have those, if you're like a computer science major, or even if you're not, but have those. So definitely, you don't have to just put skills or experience that has been paid. NASA is definitely very supportive and encourages you to submit volunteer experience, right? Describe your volunteer experience as long as it does relate to the application you're submitting. Special skills there like social media, foreign languages, graphic design, things like that. You'd be surprised how many of the projects may be technical, but still need either science communication or science art, right? So I have an intern currently for this fall session whose project is, she's a computer scientist, but she's basically also conducting like the graphic design of the website for a 3D virtual environment of Mars. So telescopes have been taking pictures of Mars. NASA has a lot of pictures of Mars, but now her project is to code a website where the general public can just log on and view a 3D virtual environment of Mars. So not only does that take coding, but obviously she needs to make it appealing to the general public eye. And then, as I mentioned earlier, how your interests fit with a NASA opportunity. Definitely you want to answer that question or address it in your unique perspective, your unique background, right? Be concise, but also, make yourself stand out. So what could you be doing now? Basically getting technical skills if you're not, going to apply immediately, but are applying in the future. shadow a professional in your field of interest. As I said, volunteer experience counts. It's just about how you describe it in your resume and in the application. Request a recommendation letter from someone who can speak of your technical skills, your soft skills, your work ethic and leadership, and ultimately how likely you are, right, to be a good worker for NASA. So think about why you are interested in a NASA internship and be prepared to speak to this in an interview. So if you do get selected for or considered for a project, what will happen is that either a coordinator, such as myself, or the mentor, the faculty who uploaded the project description will do a very just short interview to make sure that what you put in your application is true, right? If you put that you know 5 programming languages or whatever, the NASA faculty wants to make sure that that's true. And these interviews can be very casual. So it's no pressure. It's just verifying that you can talk about what you submitted in your application. What you can be doing now is also think about what strengths you want to put in your application, right? Highlight the strengths that you want to be showcased in that application. You can update your LinkedIn profile and connect with STEM folks, especially at that virtual conference that is already happening and coming up next week as well. And so why intern at NASA Ames Research Center? So as I mentioned, right now during the virtual environment, you have the opportunity to intern all across the nation. However, specifically at Ames, we have a lot of focus areas. So we have a lot of different research projects, and not just STEM. There's a lot of administration, communications projects that do get uploaded by NASA faculty. You work closely with your mentor and cohort. You grow professionally because we have bi-weekly meetings in which we do intern activities, and even on a weekly basis, you get to have seminars and workshops from basically Ames Research Center and all the other research centers that are in the nation regarding just getting to know the mentors at those centers and the projects they're doing. Opportunities, you also get workshops and seminars on how you can become a NASA employee, right? So that's very beneficial to you since you already have that intern experience. Some centers are providing virtual lab tours of their NASA centers, so that's pretty cool too. As I mentioned, there's center-wide events. You get to interact with other interns in community events. Your NASA internship towards the end, it does culminate with a poster symposium, so that's pretty cool. You know, you get to put on your resume that you not only did an internship or research project, but then you presented it to the agency, to NASA. So that's a big deal to put on your resume. And so, yeah, so we do have another program, the Pathways program, and that's an opportunity to be a NASA civil servant or employee for the government. And so at least for Ames, back also pre-COVID, the last bullet, if that's something that interests you, you get to live in Silicon Valley. So stay connected. So here, we're coming up towards the end of the presentation. Here are our social media. Most of them you can see is just NASA interns, but that's how you could stay connected with events, outreach that NASA does, just reminders about applying to NASA internships and stuff like that. And so with that, here is my information as well as Haley, the other coordinator's information. So I'll take questions regarding NASA internships or questions about graduate school tips and advice. So thank you for your time.
Awesome, thank you so much, Carlos. I'm going to ask, if you have any questions, feel free to just write them in the chat. Until then, I do have a question for you, Carlos. What would you say, is there any overlap between going to grad school and then pursuing a career at NASA?
Yes, so good question. Well, not many, so a good amount of mentors will upload projects that are very independent, right? So the mentor will maybe for the first 2 weeks give you a sense of the vision for the conclusion of the project. but during the whole session, it's up to you to take it in the direction that you want to take the research project. So that's exactly what, it's very similar to a PhD, right? To doing a PhD. Once you commit to a lab for your PhD program, mentors, faculty generally have research projects that they're interested in. You get to choose a research project, and then you take it for your 4 to 6 years in graduate school, or at least for a PhD, in whatever direction you see fit, right? Obviously with advice and communication with the mentor. So definitely there's similarities and overlap of how some mentors at NASA run their projects compared to graduate school. I will say this too, what's pretty cool is that many mentors are definitely opened. So, you know, in your internship, you may realize, wow, I like this research stuff. I like being, you know, given a task, but not being told what to do with it. And so when you have that creative freedom in STEM, you may realize that you want to pursue a PhD program, graduate school. And if you inform your mentor, they will get excited at NASA, and they have connections with graduate programs. So they definitely will start getting you in contact with people they know at graduate programs. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Now we do have a couple of questions in chat, so I'll just read them off for you to answer. Danny Yost asks, do you think research experience carries a lot of weight when applying to NASA internships?
No, you know, so that's a good question. So no, you don't necessarily have to have extensive research experience to get selected or apply for a NASA internship. You know, maybe you've previously done volunteer experience, or just on your own time, you just learned how to code by yourself, right? Or you know, graphic design, you know how to handle social media, how to market, or business administration. Definitely just describe it in a very good way in your resume, as well as in the application. And honestly, at least for summer, when all this started going virtual, mentors are really aware, at least at Ames Research Center, that with this virtual environment, there are many students who may not have that experience or background. For example, many of the virtual internships that are being uploaded are kind of like coding or stuff like that. And so mentors are actually taking biology students or chemistry students who tell them, I don't have any coding experience. I don't even know how to code. I don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about your programming languages. But mentors don't want to have these students be left out during these virtual environments. So they're willing to take just the diverse backgrounds. Yeah.
So there's a question from Patricia. Are there any other internship opportunities for those who are not citizens?
Yeah, good question. So the answer is yes, but during the virtual environment, it's been on pause. Once things get back to in person, the international internship program will commence again, but we don't know yet when that will be.
Cool, awesome. So just to clarify too, because I know Monica asked a question, when you do your application process, it's for all of the 15 opportunities. You don't have to reapply over and over again. So to ask the question after that, from Oscar Brown, I applied for a Pathways internship for engineering, and I was hoping you could expand on the differences between pathway internships and regular internships. Also, do the Pathways internships contribute to the 15 application limit?
So I'm the internships program coordinator, and so the internships program is definitely different than the Pathways program. Pathways program is a way for you to you're involved and you're conducting research at NASA, but the Pathways program is supposed to culminate with you getting hired at NASA, becoming a civil servant, right? The internship program that I coordinate is just about getting you that internship experience at NASA. So I'm not sure how the application for pathways programs, I don't think you select 15 projects. But Marco, you say you are in the pathways program, so maybe you know more about that.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest difference is that usually Pathways is done through usajobs.gov, and then the internships are done through intern.nasa.gov. So normally you don't have to worry about that 15 application limit. I've heard of some pathways though that are being posted on intern.nasa.gov. This was before COVID happened, so I don't know how that's changed now. With that said though, if it is a pathways that's posted on intern.nasa.gov, it would have to be one of the projects you select. So it would count for your limit in that case.
There's a question that is being asked by Michelle. What is the ideal and average GPA of the candidates NASA mostly accepts?
Good question. Honestly, it varies. And I know I said the minimum GPA is 3.0, but if you're like at the border, maybe 2.85 or 2.9, we do make exceptions sometimes, depending how strong your skills, how you portray or you describe your experiences in your resume. So honestly, we don't emphasize the GPA. We look more about your other things, how you fill out your application. Yeah.
And so this meeting is being recorded to Reza. I'm not so sure specifically on where it gets uploaded. I guess a YouTube channel. Maybe Priscilla, you know more about that?
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. I can find it for you and let you know in a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, just for those of y'all that joined in late, make sure to join our Discord or to sign up for the GBM so we can add you to the mailing list. I'll post all those links. But now the next question is from Daisy. What if you're in your first semester of college? Do you use your high school GPA?
Yeah, good question. Yes, you would, but make sure to upload something that says you're enrolled already in courses for your undergraduate institution.
So Chris is asking, what is the most important component of an application for NASA internship? The determinant factor for hiring?
Oh, that's a tough question to answer because honestly, we take a look at the overall application. It's not too much on specific parts, but just basically so when I went over the points on how to make your application stand out, if you follow that criteria, it should be a good starting point.
Cool. I think we are approaching 10 minutes of Q&A, so I just wanted to check in on you, Carlos, to see how you're doing. If you're good for a couple more questions. Oh, awesome. Okay, well then, the next question is from Michael again. Does a BS, and I'm sorry if I've mispronounced your name, does a BS in engineering but a master's in a different field like physics, for example, improve or hurt your chances of getting in?
No, both are great. Both are great. So BS and an MS. So an MS in physics, I mean, just technically now you would be getting paid at the graduate level. Some projects are only for graduate students. But no, I don't think it benefits or hurts anything. It positions you into the graduate level. Yeah.
So another question that is being asked is, does NASA offer internships to permanent residents?
So the requirements are for to be a U.S. citizen. So for now, those are the requirements.
Cool. And then another one from Michael. If a student has a graduate degree, is the undergrad GPA still used, or do you use your graduate GPA?
Oh, can you repeat that question again, Marco?
Oh yeah, if a student has a graduate degree, is the undergrad still used for consideration or just the graduate GPA?
It's the graduate GPA, but we do want you to upload all your unofficial transcripts of your academic career.
So someone is asking how has been your teaching experience and what has it taught you about life?
My teaching experience, so in that context, I'll take it as if I've taught classes, but if you want to be more specific about the question, then that's cool too. I've been a TA during my graduate, at least when I was a graduate student, and I definitely enjoyed it. I actually considered if I would be a research faculty at a predominantly teaching institution, right? Maybe do the majority of teaching, but also do some research on the side. But ultimately, my experiences with interacting with students, teaching students, I just thought that this type of career path is definitely another way to conduct teaching and professional development. So I think during my teaching experiences, my passion for mentoring students, for providing students with opportunities for academic and professional development definitely augmented my passion for this type of STEM education, STEM engagement career. Yeah, and I guess to expand on that too, there other learning experiences, at least for the research I conducted. So as an undergrad, I conducted drug addiction research as well as Parkinson's disease research. Then during my PhD, it was all Parkinson's disease research. I've just gained a greater appreciation of the brain. I mean, I always appreciated it, but the brain is a mystery. So it's just, I gained a deep appreciation of what we don't know about the brain and how much farther we have to go to cure brain diseases. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions. I will add one more question because so for any students that do get accepted into the NASA internships program, what advice would you give them to make the most of their experience?
I would advise to be like a sponge, right? To just participate in everything so that you could soak in all the knowledge. We always say that, at least for the NASA internships, that you get what you put into the internship. So we definitely don't want you to be overwhelmed, but the more you participate in seminars, workshops, meetings, and it could just be listening in. Right now during virtual environment, it doesn't mean, unmuting yourself and participating. Once you get an internship, as long as you attend the meetings, trust me, you will just gain a lot of knowledge. A lot of students say that just by their participation in the meetings, they get clarification on what type of career they may be pursuing after their undergrad. Others think, oh, now I'm not going to work right after my undergrad. I'm actually going to go to graduate school. So that's definitely what I encourage if you do get selected for a NASA internship, to just make the best of it. And also, if you do, at least during this virtual environment, we have full-time internships and part-time internships. So you know yourself better than anyone. So know how overwhelming it might be if you choose a full-time internship plus the coursework that you're already doing. So if you know it might be overwhelming, then make sure to choose to apply to part-time internships. That way you can definitely enjoy the internship experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all the time that you've given us, not only here, but at the Night with Industry. I think that brings us to about 15 minutes of Q&A, which seems like it's a perfect time to wrap up. Before we end, I think we're going to ask that everyone turns on their cameras if they are comfortable, just so we can take one little picture of our GBM before we say goodbye.